Welcome to it, sports fans. The MKT Show. I am MKT. It is the 22nd of December. Um, what a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. Welcome to the MKT Show. Gareth Cliff, MKT. Let's get into it. Today, we're going to talk about Arsenal. Uh, what a weekend. What a weekend. Listen, no show last night, so we had to talk about it. The Arsenal are in a real situation. So, look, I'll give you my 3 points on what I think's really gone wrong there. I think we've spoken about the Arsenal, but Arsenal, it's been 17 years. It's been this has been coming, but I will talk about that, and then as I do every single Tuesday, I'll tell you where I was right, where I was wrong, because I'm just that humble. You know, you got to be real about this thing. You know, when you're wrong, be happy to say you're wrong. So my humility will come through where I tell you where I was right, where I was wrong. I'll finish off with that. But we'll start at the Gunners. Remember, it is Cliff Central Sport on all social media platforms, Cliff C Sport. If you're on the Tweet Monster, otherwise I'm MKT Inspires. That's Mike Kilo Tango. MKT Inspires on all social media platforms. Let's get into it. Great, by the way. Cannot wait for the 26th. That is Boxing Day internationally. The cricket, of course, the Test match, India, Australia will be on. And then, of course, all the football. So cannot wait. By the way, we'll be working right through. So we'll be off for Jesus' birthday on the 25th. The 26th will be off, but I will be back 27th to wrap up all of the action. And I'll be working right through. I may even do New Year's Day. Who knows? But all the fixtures, of course, on New Year's Day. So more likely to do on the 2nd. All right, let's get into it. Welcome to it, MKT. Remember to click like if you're just starting to watch the show. And like, share, subscribe. Be a friend, tell a friend. The MKT Show. All right, the Gunners. Listen, so life's hard enough. Life's really, really hard. And as human beings, we've come up with these things called systems. Or if you're in business and you've heard people that try and be smarter than everybody else, but there's generally a term. It's called SOPs, right? It's the acronym. It is Standard Operating Practices. SOPs, if you haven't heard of it. So what are your SOPs? What are your standard operating practices? One thing systems don't do, because we're dealing with people, right? And people are unpredictable, and you try and condition them and brainwash them, which is what coaching is at the highest level. You've got to convince somebody better than you at whatever you're doing, or whatever you're telling them to do. They're better than you at doing that. Ultimately, the only way to do it, the greatest coaches we always hear are psychologists, right? The players always say he wasn't a coach, he was a psychologist, because he'd get you in that frame of mind. So the one thing about SOPs and systems is that they don't guarantee you winning. And winning consistently, by the way, everybody thinks is, oh, you have to have unbelievable potential. It's all about focusing on, oh, well, our ceiling, our potential is a 10 out of 10. It's not. So what systems do is they don't guarantee that you're going to win. What they guarantee is that you're not going to have any disasters. So if you have good systems, because really what you want to do when you have great systems, the best companies in the world have such good systems, really the people and the talent don't matter. You could plug in any accountant, any guy, any woman, it doesn't matter. The best systems must make the people irrelevant. You need to make the people irrelevant that come in next. They should just come in, fit into a system. If they move on, good. If they stay, good. It doesn't matter. So systems are not there to ensure that you're going to win. What they're there to do is ensure that you don't lose. And we can all have bad years. You cannot have terrible years. That's what shuts businesses down. That's what gets football teams relegated. That's what gets relationships to break up. Everybody has a bad day, a bad month, a bad year. What you cannot do is have 3 bad years in a relationship, 3 bad years in a business. Right? Systems negate disasters. Look, there's a simple model, all right? There's a simple model for life, for business. Input, process, outcome. Quality of input, quality of process, which is your systems, equals quality of outcome. Arsenal have had awful input and process for 17 years. Awful. Terrible. They've had a terrible input and processes for 17 years. So for people to be shocked that Arsenal are where they are now is shocking to me. Or you've never worked in business, or you've never chosen to read any book. Right? Input, process equals output. And the quality of those first two will 99.9% of the time, unless you have a transcendent talent in something, unless you're the Rain Man in accounting and mathematics or Diego Maradona in the football pitch. But input, process, outcome, right, are intricately linked. Those first two determine your output 99% of the time. Arsenal have been awful for 17 years. The problem is that when you make Arsene Wenger or any person, Man United are going through it now, but the Gunners made Arsene Wenger the alpha and the omega. You cannot have a guy running the accounting books, the football side, the academy, what type of football we're going to play, what type of players we're going to recruit, right? So the whole football club started and ended with Wenger. How do you think that's going to go? Let's make it relevant to your life. Yeah, you ever had a dependent or a needy girlfriend, boyfriend? How do they look? Maybe you got a friend who's needy. They get into a relationship. And what happens with those people whenever they break up with the person? Ultimately, you know, nobody likes desperate. After 3 months, they break up with somebody. Every single time, it is a disaster. They hit the floor. Oh my God, what's wrong with me? That's what Arsenal are now. They're an insecure mess. Because all they cared about, all they thought about is, without Arsene Wenger in the relationship, right, we are nothing. But you built that model. That's what needy people do. Is without my boyfriend, without my girlfriend, I am nothing. I need them. Without them, I can't wake up in the morning. I can't do anything. I can't make a decision. I don't know what food to buy. That's who Arsenal are. And by the way, folks, nobody likes desperate. If you smell, people can smell desperate from a mile off, right? You have good-looking friends that are in a good job, you know, who just cannot wait to be in a relationship, and you go, why they're single? Because people can see desperate from a mile off. Nobody likes that. Arsenal are insecure and they're a mess. Right? Wenger-centric. Problem number one. Listen, they've sold their best players for 17 years. Now, again, I don't care who you are. Ultimately, you must have talent to win. Is it enough to win? No, but you've got to have it. So input plus processes equals output. Input, it's the players, right? It's the talent you can put on the field. The processes is, how do we get them to believe? How do we create systems called formations, tactics, managing dressing rooms? That's the other part. Input plus processes. Arsenal have had awful on both, because what's been happening is the talent's going out the door at Arsenal for the last 17 years. Samir Nasri, Cesc Fabregas, Gael Clichy, Ashley Cole, Sanya, right? All out the door. Emmanuel Adebayor. They're going the wrong way. Robin van Persie, they're going that way. That's been a constant trend. Folks, in life, we are not the things we say. Arsene Wenger can tell you, the Arsenal board can tell you, oh, we're moving to the Emirates to compete with so-and-so. Yes, my grandmother used to say, my boy, I see better than I hear. You're telling me the rubbish is outside. I see it on the floor. You're telling me you've bathed. I can see your feet are dirty. That's what my grandmother used to say. So Arsenal can tell you we want to compete. You can't be selling Samir Nasri. You can't be selling Sanya. You can't be selling Adebayor, Clichy, Ashley Cole, the next after the next, Robin van Persie to your biggest rivals. That can't be happening. And in the very same breath, you're telling me you're competing. That's been happening for 17 years at the Arsenal. Thierry Henry never wanted to leave Arsenal. He said, I can't win a Champions League here. When the one and only tells you, folks, if somebody's with you for 10 years and they leave you, it's a you problem. I'm sorry, it's a you problem. Thierry Henry loved Arsenal. Thierry Henry is Arsenal. Patrick Vieira and Henry left at their peak. That should have told you then. That's a problem. Arsene Wenger cannot be the only thing at the club. Can't sell your best players. Can't sell your talent. And again, I'll finish off on this. The process was messed up. It was whatever Wenger wanted, right? I'm sorry. If you work in business, if you work in sales teams right now, ultimately what you want, especially as the leader, you should be the most disposable, because your system should be so good that everybody in your team can run it without you. You think of all the great teams, Man United, Arsenal, and Chelsea. Those dressing rooms ran themselves, right? How do I know that? Right? But maybe the Arsenal, not so much. But let's look at the two Man United dynasties and Chelsea. Mourinho first time, right? Mourinho left. What happened? Avram Grant got them to a Champions League final. He left. What happened? The dressing room basically, the year AVB was fired, Di Matteo takes over, and they win an FA Cup and a Champions League just like that. With Fergie, what happened is that first generation of Bruce and Robson and Keane left. They got out the door. New guys came in. Ronaldo, Rooney, Tevez, they came in. Three-peat. Neville, these guys were captains now. They took over three-peat. Fergie's not running anything. He's dealing with the corporates. He's overseeing. He's letting Mike Phelan and those guys coach. The system's running itself now at United. So Fergie's not hands-on. If you're hands-on with your team at work, like Arsene Wenger had to be, you're dead in the water. You got to, if your systems work, you ideally don't need to be there. And Arsenal, sorry. So let me just wrap it up and say this, right? I've always told people this. I've tried to tell people this, and people don't listen to me. I say, just go and read about your own football club. If you want to know about success, number one, you got to get the ownership right. Number two, you got to get the manager right. Number three, you got to get the players right, which is the captain, by the way. So you got to get the captain right. And number four, you must have your academy right if you're going to win. Because you have to have players at the club that care about the club. If you want to win long term, you can win short term, right? With the buying model, especially if you're Chelsea, you got to come in, you got to sort of buy the success early. If you're Man United, it had been years without winning. What did Fergie have to do at the beginning? He had to buy Roy Keane. He had to buy Robson. He had to buy Steve Bruce. He had to buy Rio Ferdinand because Man United hadn't had success since the Busby Babes. So Fergie, people think, oh, he did it with just the kids. That's nonsense. Is 5 or 6 of them, yes, were from the academy. That's why they had the success. But early, he had to go and buy talent. He had to buy Andy Cole. He had to buy Dwight York. He had to buy Jaap Stam. He had to buy Juan Sebastian Veron, right? These were all purchases made. Dennis Irwin is not a Man United academy product. He had to buy these guys. He had to buy Gillespie, Blomqvist. These are the guys he had to buy early. But in order to go long-term, what did Fergie do? He had the core being the kids. All United, all the time. So you got to get that right. Ownership has to be right. Manager has to be right. Team has to be right. And academy has to be right. I've told people this from the beginning. You've been watching the show. Let me tell you what Arsenal have been for the last 17 years. Owners, C+. Are they putting money in? Yes. New stadium, you got to give them credit for that. But C+. Right? Arsenal, they were kind of riding the wave of the 90s. Manager, C+. I'm sorry, Arsene Wenger, you don't get... it's a what have you done for me lately league. I can't give Wenger credit for what he did 17 years ago. Today, I can't. 2004 is the last time you won the league. I just want to let that sink in. I was still in school then. I'm 34 years old now. I'm 34 years old. I've been through a whole cycle of school plus 5 years. From primary school to finishing high school, I've been through a whole cycle of that. And 5 years and another whole high school cycle since Arsenal last won the league. So owners, C+. Manager, C+. I'm afraid over the last 17 years. Players, you got to say a D. Because every time the A players leave, it's impossible to replace Robin Van Persie. It's impossible to replace Fabregas, Nasri, Gael Clichy, Ashley Cole, Sanya. It's impossible to replace those players. I don't care how much money you spend. Ask Man United, they've tried. Ask Tottenham, they've tried. Players, D. The academy's been an F. The academy's been an F. You want the polar opposite. Look at the league. It is littered with Chelsea players. It is littered with Man United academy players. Those are A+ academies. There's no Arsenal players. There are no Arsenal players outside of Arsenal. And even the ones that stay at Arsenal that are so-called good enough, Joe Willock. Look at Chelsea. You got Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham, whether you like him or not. He's in the league. He's going to get 15 Premier League goals this season. Reece James, Fikai Tomori, Christensen. Scott McTominay. Those are all products of the system. Marcus Rashford, straight from Manchester. That's an A-plus academy. They keep churning them out. And go and look across the league. Patrick Van Aanholt is doing terrific things at Crystal Palace. We see, I mean, it's just at West Brom, they got the young lad from Chelsea who's doing fantastic in midfield there. Chelsea might get a guy back for £90 million, Declan Rice. He's a Chelsea Academy product. Folks, it's an F for... So across the board, for 17 years, you can't be a sort of D minus club and expect to have A-plus results. It's not Arteta, folks. The SOPs, the systems of operation, the standard systems of operation at Arsenal have been trash for 17 years. This is what happens. And by the way, it's not Arteta. Somebody at some stage was going to have to rip the bandage off of the poor academy, poor systems, poor scouting. Somebody was going to have to rip the bandage off and actually reboot this thing. Arteta's just the guy who's willing to do it. Emre wasn't willing to do it. Emre was just Wenger light. So, I'm sorry. Gunners, I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. But the Gunners are a mess. And by the way, write this year off. I said 3 to 5 years. Make it 5 to 7 years in order to be competitive. It's been a mess. Owners are a C+, managers a C+, players are a D, the academy's an F. That's over 17 years. The club, for me, Arsenal's a D- club right now. You're a top 10 club. At best. And it's not a mistake. We've seen it coming. Folks, in life, you've got to have standards of operation. Like people don't understand. On a weekend, I wake up the same time I wake up during the week. Because I like to set a standard. Routine. Routine is king for me. It's hard because, you know, here's the thing. Greatness is a price you have to pay daily. If you want certain things, you have to do it daily. And it takes time to form great habits, I'm afraid. And just because you've done something well for 1 year, that doesn't make you great. You got to do it for 10, 20 years. And the only way to do it is to get good habits. Arsenal are in horrible habits. It's taken them 17 years to form those. And they're a dead club now. And it's not a surprise. I'm sorry. If you're an Arsenal fan, I feel nothing for you. It's been coming. Don't act surprised now. Mikel Arteta, give him time, and let's fix the standards of operation. You got to fix the standards. There's no standards at Arsenal. What is the standard now? Let it go. Let it go. All right, those are my thoughts on the Gunners for now. As I do every Tuesday, let me tell you where I was right, where I was wrong. So I'll finish off with this and let you go. Hey, you know what the Gunners needed as a break is playing Man City. Are you kidding me? That could be 10. That could be a cricket score tonight if City play there. Even City's B team. I mean, we're talking Bernardo Silva, right? Riyad Mahrez off the bench. Maybe Sergio Aguero. Heard of him? Yeah, he might come off the bench. He'll be their rotation option for the Carabao Cup. Stunning. Stunning. Bernard Mendy will be their backup left back. Unbelievable. Zinchenko, perhaps. Just unbelievable. All right, where I was right, where I was wrong. Let's switch over to that. We'll get into it. So I do this every Tuesday. Tell you where I was right, where I was wrong. I'll start with where I was right. Sadio Mane is the best player in the Premier League. He did it again this weekend. Liverpool should have lost to Crystal Palace or at least conceded 3 in the first half. They didn't. Ultimately, his goal gets the ball rolling. It is a sensational goal. Drogba scored a similar goal. In fact, Drogba's one was better. It was against Barcelona. Go and Google his flick between the legs, and Drogba curls it first time around Vito Valdez. But Mane does a very similar trick. It's the inside of the heel. He spins. The defender has no chance. And before the keeper knows it, it is rattling the back of the net. He's the best player in the Premier League. And I think he's separating himself now. Kevin De Bruyne, no, sir. Kevin De Bruyne without David Silva, I'm starting to have my doubts. But Sadio Mane is saying, he's showing you now, Mo Salah, no Van Dijk, it doesn't matter. Put this thing on my shoulders. Just give me the ball and get in position. He's the best player in the league. He's an animal. There's nothing he can't do. Right foot, left foot. He's a beast. He's got work rate. He can head the ball. He can finish. He creates. He's an unbelievable player. He's selfless. One of the best in the world. I'd take him over Cristiano Ronaldo right now. The only player I'd take above Sadio Mane is Leo Messi. And I love Ronaldo, but my God, this guy. So I was dead right there. Where I was wrong, Mikel Arteta, I thought he'd come in and stamp his authority immediately. Now, whether it is an ownership problem or it's just him, maybe, some guys come in with the reputation is he maybe thought, oh, I worked with Pep, I've been successful, I'll get the respect. Unfortunately, that's not how sportsmen work. We don't care what you did over there. What are you going to do for us here? And I think Arteta's been a little lackadaisical in terms of rooting out some of the nonsense in the dressing room. Didn't love how he dealt with the Granit Xhaka situation, considering how he called out Pepe for his stupid headbutt. I didn't love how he gave Xhaka a pass. Players don't like that. Treat us equally. You don't have to treat us fair. Let me tell you, I've been a sportsman. Footballers don't care about fairness. There is no fairness. It's a dog-eat-dog world. But treat us equally. And if you don't, we can see through that. You cannot, as a manager, have favorites. Because I'll tell you what dressing rooms do, right? Is the guys know. Well, one thing about alpha males and talented people, you can lie to the world. You can lie to so-and-so. We know who the best players are. And naturally, the hierarchies will form themselves in the dressing rooms. Is everybody knows who the best players are. And you know what? Everybody falls in place if you've got a strong leader in there. So Arteta picked a bad captain because he doesn't have a strong leader, so he can't keep a lid on things. Now everybody wants to express their opinion. It's a mess in there. And I think there was a little bit of, I was captain at Everton, I was captain at Arsenal, so they'll have respect for me. Mikel, these are millennials now. These guys don't care. Do it for us. They don't care what you did at Man City. Some people are saying, hey, you put the cones down for Pep Guardiola. He was the genius. So we don't care about that. Show us what you can do. So that respect thing, I'm afraid it can last a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But once the players see through you and maybe you're not strong enough in the dressing room, you're not strong enough to pick a captain, you're not strong enough to be hard on the best players. They don't like that. So whatever's gone wrong, I was dead wrong on Mikel Arteta. I thought he'd come in Mourinho style. We've seen what Mourinho's done at Spurs. He's crushed all egos in there. And it is the Mourinho way, or you can get the hell out. Ask Dele Alli. Mikel Arteta, I was dead wrong. Where I was right, listen, folks, I said before lockdown, right, or during lockdown and at the beginning, cricket's dead. The approach that India had towards the test match, Virat Kohli, it just sickening. It is sickening. They don't take test cricket seriously. They're playing pink ball cricket. They're trying to make test cricket exciting as though it isn't exciting enough on its own already. Cricket's dead. I was dead right. It's amateur. It's poorly run. They don't know what they're doing. They're trying anything. I just don't know what's happening. The International Cricket Council is a mess. Cricket Australia don't know what they're doing, trying to get this test match going. I'll watch it because I love test cricket, but that's a mess. You watch that. You watch India not caring about that. There's like, okay, listen, this is just a filler until the one-day stuff again. T20 stuff again. We just want to get out of here. What a mess. And I said it at the beginning of lockdown. Folks, just kill the international game. But cricket's dead already. It's already telling you. But whatever. I'll watch it and I love it. But it's dead. It's a dead product. It's a dead product. It's being run like a pub show. Terrible. Where I was wrong, I was entirely wrong about Aubameyang. I said play him up front. He's your best player. Blah, blah, blah. He's world class. He's not. He's not. Your best players are with you in the trenches. Aubameyang's been nothing but a disaster after he got his money. Money doesn't change people. It makes them more of who they are. Aubameyang is a disaster. He's the most cancerous player at Arsenal. He's sulking now. I don't think he was injured last week. I've asked a few people who work at Arsenal whether they think he was injured. They don't. I don't. It's over. One must go, and I think maybe in January even. I think Aubameyang or Arteta will go in January because I think there's problems coming there. I was wrong. Aubameyang's not a captain. He's not a lead striker. He's an auxiliary piece. Listen, not everybody's built to be an alpha male or female. It's okay, right? It's okay to just be another guy. Aubameyang he's really, I'll mention this other guy later, but listen, all the flash and pomp and circumstance, these guys who like flashy cars, nobody cares about that in the dressing room. Are you a real leader? Are you a dog? He's not a dog. You got to be that dog. And he's not. I'm sorry. He ain't that guy. Good player, yes, but it's not enough. I was wrong about Aubameyang. He's not a lead striker. He's not world class. He's not Arsenal class. And he's not taking Arsenal to the promised land. Forget it. Where I was right, Chelsea fleeced Arsenal for Willian. I said it when it happened, and some people try to convince me otherwise. Oh, look at his numbers, how he played with you guys. Come on, guys. He's had one shot on target all season. He's not into it. I don't know what's happened between him and Arteta, but you can't be giving a 32-year-old a 3-year contract. Absolute disaster. Now, I was right about that. I said Chelsea. Here's my thing. I'm big on this in life in general. If you're in a bad relationship, or if you feel like, I'm not going to marry this person, right? Or whatever it may be, I always say, get out of a relationship a year early rather than a year late. Get out before you resent them. There is no good way to break up with somebody. Chelsea did the right thing. Patriots always do this. Man United under Fergie. I would rather you aged on somebody else's clock than on my clock. That's my approach in relationships. That's my approach in life. I'm not going to let you get sort of toxic on my watch. I feel you're getting toxic. You got to go. Chelsea are brilliant at that. They will farm you out. They don't care. Roman is ruthless. Arsenal got it wrong. So what Chelsea said was, hey, maybe Willian has another great season, but that's probably it. Right? We're not going to let you age on our watch. And I think Chelsea were brilliant with that. Arsenal made a massive mistake. Again, I told you, 17 years of mediocrity. This is what you expect. Where I was wrong, listen, I was right at the beginning. Then I went back on it. And then I was wrong on going back. So I was actually right. But, I changed my mind. So I was wrong. Everton are going to be top 4. Everton are going to be top 4. They're missing both both wing backs, their best midfielder, Allen, and James Rodriguez. That's probably their 4 best players outside of Calvert-Lewin. And they dismantled Chelsea, quite frankly, and they've won 3 in a row. Can you imagine what this team will do once they've settled down? They'll get their left back right. They'll get Seamus Coleman back. They'll get James Rodriguez back. He'll settle a bit, come back rested. I mean, are you kidding? Carlo Ancelotti, the Don. I was wrong. They're going to be top 4. And by the way, I still don't think Liverpool are going to be top 4, but that's another conversation for a later time. Where I was right, Anthony Martial is not a top 6 player. I don't care how well Manchester United are playing. That's not a top 6 guy. Stop trying to tell me how good he is. And people trying to tell me, but Timo Werner. Martial's numbers are nowhere near Timo Werner's numbers. Plus, I get work rate from Timo Werner. So once again, with Timo Werner, the floor is a 6. Because at least I get a shift. Whether he's playing on the left or the right, he's giving you options. He's holding the ball up. He's bringing people into play. Anthony Martial, if he's not doing well, his attitude sucks, his head drops, and he's out the game. You kick Martial once or twice, right? He's out of the game. It's not happening with Werner. It's not happening with the top guys. It's not happening with Aguero. It's not happening with those top boys. Jesus, you look at him at Man City right now. Jesus is struggling, right, for goals. But he's in the game. He's bringing people into the game. He's allowing runners to come off his shoulder. He's opening space for De Bruyne to drive into the box. Martial, it's not going well for him at his feet. He doesn't get to dribble. He misses a chance. His head's down. It's all over. Anthony Martial, I don't care what you say, for £60 million, he's 25 years old now. He's a bust. I'm sorry. He's a bust. Stop. Stop with the madness. Stop with the nonsense. This is Manchester United. I watched Dimitar Berbatov, probably the greatest first touch. I don't know, between him and Trezeguet, I'd have to decide in terms of the greatest first touch I've ever seen. Andrea Pirlo, I'll throw you in there as well. That was a Man United number 9. Cavani's more of a United number 9 than Martial. I'm sorry, let it go. And stop telling me he's a winger. He's not. In modern day football, you cannot be a glory boy. There are 2 people in our generation. And even Sadio Mane, I'd let him get away with it if he just wasn't such a tank. But there are 2 people in this generation who I will let be golden boys and stand on the other side of the line. Their names are Mercier's Messi and Ronaldo. If your surname is not those 2, you had better put the shift in of your life. Otherwise, I'm sorry, you are not a modern day winger. If you're not getting me 45 goals a season, folks, and it's my problem with Mo Salah. I know people love him, but I'm not taking that because Mo Salah doesn't give me 50 goals a season. So I cannot have you be a glory boy, right? That ain't going to work. Anthony Martial, he's not a Man United guy. Folks, just because you hate Man United, right? Some people hate Man United. I'm not an ABU because I've seen what greatness is. So I saw David Beckham when he was the greatest crosser of the ball in the world. That wasn't his greatest trait. David Beckham would kill himself. Ryan Giggs was the best winger in this league, right? Between Ryan Giggs and David Ginola, they were the best wingers in this league for 10 years. I saw David Ginola play. That was next level. Ryan Giggs play. I saw them next level. What was their greatest trait? They were the hardest workers in the team. Ryan Giggs was out of this world. You know, for you young kids, I know people get excited. People get excited by Gnabry these days. Go and watch a 20-year-old from 20 to 25, Ryan Giggs. You've never seen anything like it. Ryan Giggs with the ball at his feet from 20 to 25, right? The only other guy I could compare to him is Ginola and Arjen Robben. But Ryan Giggs was unbelievable with the ball at his feet. He was Messi like before Messi. He was just unstoppable. But Ryan Giggs' greatest trait was he was a second left back. That's Man United standards. Is we don't care about talent. Ryan Giggs is what? Top 10 best players the Premier League's ever seen. His greatest trait is work rate and technique. So I don't know who Anthony Martial thinks he is, but he's nowhere near good enough to be sulking and pouting. Because, hey, what's Rashford's big thing? I don't love Rashford for talent. I don't think Rashford is the most talented player. But my God, the work rate. And he keeps coming again and again. Watch how much Rashford gets kicked. Because he's got tremendous pace and power, right? He floats past people. And my God, Rashford takes a kick here and there. But what's his great thing? I'm back again. I'm back again. I'm back again. That's a United player. Anthony Martial, the nonsense I'm seeing, I'm sorry, and I'm seeing it again now. I forgive you at 21. I cannot forgive you at 25 at Manchester United when I've just seen maybe the greatest strike force that Man United's ever had. Wayne Rooney, Cristiano Ronaldo, Carlos Tevez. What was the backbone of that? Relentless. Wayne Rooney, no talent, right? Low on talent, Wayne Rooney, but the desire, passion was next level. You know why Wayne Rooney was irresistible? You know why Tevez was irresistible? You know why Cristiano Ronaldo continues to be irresistible? It's not a talent thing. Be honest now, Ronaldo's not as talented as Messi. But he'll come again. He'll be in the right place again. He doesn't care if you kick him, Eden Hazard, Ronaldo, Rooney, Tevez. They'll come again and again and again. And by the way, if you think you're running past Carlos Tevez, you got something else coming. You think you're running past Wayne Rooney at Man United. And by the way, Wayne Rooney is entitled. He's the highest goal scorer Man United's ever had. There was nobody tracking back like Rooney, even in his last days. Martial's not the guy. I'm sorry. I was dead right in that from the beginning. I won't take that for 60 million pounds. And that was 60 million pounds 5 years ago. So let's call him 90 million pounds now. That is not a 20 million pound player. I'm sorry. At 25, listen, if Martial, the only way he proves me wrong, Anthony Martial, here we go. I'll tell you what you can do for me. Give me 25 goals next season. And that's in the league, by the way. I'm not interested in all competitions. I need 40 in all competitions. Because Martial gives you nothing going backwards. Nothing. Zero. So he doesn't give me Mo Salah output, and he gives me Mo Salah attitude of just staying up front. I got Sadio Mane giving me 35 goals and 50 assists a season. Be that. Be that. Or go and play for PSG and you guys can hang out with Neymar and do nothing. I'm sorry. I was dead right on Martial. Where I was wrong, Zinedine Zidane and Real Madrid. I don't know what's happened there. It has been such a situation all season. But Zidane, again, he's turning it around. They're going to be a threat in the Champions League. They're going to be a problem for anyone who gets them. He's turning it around. Listen, also, transitions are hard. The youngsters, it's hard. Modric is old. Kroos is probably getting past his best days as well. They're trying to infuse Vinicius and make him the star. I've watched a couple of games. That's hard. That's hard. It's hard to put anything on a star player because what's Vinicius trying to do? He's trying to plug the gap of two people. Probably the two best players Real Madrid have had in the last 10 years in Bale and Ronaldo. Vinicius is trying to fill that hole by himself. He's the only guy with the personality. Asensio, I'm afraid, is not the guy. They've tried. They're trying to push it. They're trying to sell him to us and stuff him down our throat. Asensio is not the guy. Stop. He's not it. He's not Bale. He's not Ronaldo. Like, I've seen Asensio now. I think Odegaard is probably better than Asensio. I think the Vinicius Odegaard mix, that's going to be something to look out for. And that's what you get with youngsters, up and down and up and down. But Zidane, I was dead wrong. I thought he'd be fired by now. I thought Real Madrid would get out the Champions League. I thought Real Madrid would struggle to make top four. Hey, come on, Los Blancos. I was dead wrong there. Where I was right, in life, sometimes our value is actually best expressed when we're not there. So you want to know if you're valuable to your girlfriend, to your wife? Go away for 3 weeks and see what she's like when you get back. If the house is a mess and the bills haven't been paid and the fridge is empty, all right, you're valuable. If you go away and the house is a little cleaner and she's bought better groceries without you, and she's cleaned the oven, it's telling you something. It's a language. Sometimes our value is actually expressed when we're not there. How do people do or function without us when we're not there? And the thing about unmet needs is they will be met. Paul Pogba, another indictment. Man United had their best performance of the season without him again. And Leeds are no mugs. 6-2, that's not a joke. That's without Pogba. And I was dead right. I think they should have sold him 2 years ago. But here we go again. If I'm United, I get rid of him in January. Take 50 million. Men are so bad at this. I was wrong. Folks, Paul Pogba, just like Aubameyang, is just another guy. Everybody wants to be sold on the PR. Here's the thing, folks. It's okay to say this. Paul Pogba is not an alpha. Because when has he been successful? At Juventus, Marquisio, Vidal, and the great Andrea Pirlo. All right, Paul, we'll babysit you. We'll do the tactical stuff. We'll do the things that make us win. Because flashy doesn't win. Functional wins. And you can have flashy on top. But Paul Pogba now, he's supposed to be babysitting everybody else. It's been a cataclysmic disaster. It has been a mess. So what Pogba's showing you, folks, I need Sissoko. I need Matuidi. I need Conte. And then I can be part of a system. Folks, no, he's a backup singer. That's all. Just accept it. I've said this from the beginning. Don't give me the big show and the hairstyles and nonsense like that. Footballers know. Everyone at United knows. The players know. They know. They might be on Instagram and want a Dougie with him or whatever. I don't know. I'm old. The Dougie was a cool dance when I was like 15. I don't know if the kids know what that is. But Pogba, sorry, guys. It's okay. You made a mistake. You made a £90 million mistake. Take your licks. £50 million, sell him to PSG, and you can go make Instagram videos with Neymar. But what it's clear now is that he's not an alpha. They do not need him at Man United to be successful. It's tough to hear because everything is pointed to he's Adidas's pinup guy. He's the hairstyles. He's about that lifestyle. Let it go, folks. I was dead right on Pogba. It's over now. Van der Beek's better. He works better with Bruno. Bruno without him is more successful. McTominay, Fred, they're all better without him. Rashford, I think, is a high character guy. Rashford's going to be Man United's next captain. I don't love the talent with Rashford. I think he could be anywhere in the top 10 in terms of the talent. But the attitude is that of a Manchester United player. Marcus Rashford embodies everything I want. I'd say Rashford is Rooney in a different body. The attitude and the drive. You look at how Rashford comes again. Marcus Rashford's an alpha male. Now, everybody thinks that alpha male has to be loud and bravado like Pogba. Often those are the weak people, right? The great Albert Einstein said the bigger the show, right, the less the ability. And often the higher the ability, the less people need to be showy. Paul Pogba, classic example. Big show, not so much of a big man in the heart. He always needs babysitting. Go and look at Juventus. If you don't believe me, just go and look at the years Juventus was successful. Pogba left. They were back in the Champions League final 2 years later with Allegri. This idea that, he was the best player at Juventus is asinine. It is ridiculous. That team belonged to Andrea Pirlo and Marquisio. Pogba was the icing. He wasn't the cake. You're not going to tell me different. And if you are anybody who's watched any football, the World Cup belonged to Mbappe, Griezmann, and Conte. Matuidi was really the other star. I don't want to hear any different. Pogba was a backup singer. Just be functional, get the ball and pass it to Griezmann. That must be your job. Beyond that, you're nothing. And maybe that's just what Pogba is, which is okay. And you know where you can do that? PSG. I was dead right. Poor Pogba. Let's move on. All right, where I was wrong. Finish off on this. Leicester are going to be a problem. Leicester are going to be a problem because they didn't actually play that well on the weekend. That's the mad thing. They did not play well, but they won quite comfortably. The Spurs are good. Spurs are organized and they know what to do. They got run off the field a little bit by Leicester. They got embarrassed, actually. And I think you're starting to see something that I think we have to be honest. The guy that everybody wants Grealish to be, the young guy who's Mr. Alice Band and Mr. Big Time Charlie himself, Maddison. Leicester have the guy Grealish is supposed to be Maddison. Maddison's actually a great player. He's the next English prospect. Get rid of Grealish. Don't worry about him. I think Rodgers has put his hand around Maddison, and he said, "You're my guy." And Maddison looks like, okay, I love football. I'm not the Instagram guy. Instagram's a backup. Maddison looks like what Grealish is, what the English wish Grealish could be. Maddison's got output. He gives you everything. The work rate. And what I love is he's so responsible with the ball. Jack Grealish, for all of his work, is he gives it away a lot. All of his final passes, that doesn't land. And everybody gets excited about Grealish, the skills and whatever. But that's the problem with South African football. We get excited about people that can dribble. That's not exciting. Give me the output. How many times? And Aston Villa played well the other night. How many times did Aston Villa did he misplace passes, that final product? But Maddison, you give him 2 or 3 times, you give him space, well, you see what happens. You see what happens. I think Maddison is a big secret for them. And Leicester are for real. I was dead wrong. They are a top 4 threat. Because they've got depth now as well. They can rotate in. Loving them. I was dead wrong about Leicester. I was dead wrong about Leicester. All right, take some comments. Shimi Murakure says, hey, I'm sorry, Ombi, you clearly haven't been watching United. Yes, I agree, Martial's not a number 9, but neither is Firmino. But Martial has been involved in most of United's goals, even if he's not scoring. Listen, Shimi, it's not about scoring for me. I got to look at the body of work, right? And I think it's no, you cannot compare Firmino and what he does, right? Firmino is like a box-to-box striker. So Firmino is giving me everything. And you know what the worst part about Martial is? He gives me 0 hold-up play. Whether on the wing, on the right, is I'm taking you on, and if I lose it, oh well. And I'm not chasing back. So I'm not having Firmino, who's a world-class product, right? Firmino is a world-class product. And what I like about Firmino, again, for me, you know what I love about grown-up footballers? Look how responsible Firmino is with the ball. It's what I don't like about Tammy Abraham, and I don't like it about Martial. I love it about Rashford. When the ball comes to them, it's not being given away, right? The touch is silky. The first touch, I killed the ball, and I bring everybody else into it. Forget about the hard running. Martial, forget it. You're not comparing him to Firmino. I don't know if that's what you're doing, but Firmino is all over the place, and he's connecting play. Martial's not connecting play. Maybe a flashy 1-2 here and there with Rashford, but stop. No. Not maybe use a different example. Not Firmino. That's too much. You're going. Firmino's at the top end. Firmino, Aguero, they're the top guys. They the guys of that's how it's done. Martial, and by the way, I'm not saying that he's not just a Man United number 9. I'm saying he's not a Man United player. He's not a Man United player. That Man United shirt is heavy, folks. The only player in the Man United team for me that is a genuine Man United player. Bruno, the clock's still out, right? I don't get excited about people in the first 12 months. This league's smart. It'll figure you out. Let's see Bruno after a full season. We get some tape on him. Let's see what he looks like next season. Because he hasn't really, this league hasn't seen Bruno. It was a lockdown pandemic. We haven't really got tape. By the end of the season, we'll have tape on him. And the talent is clear on Bruno, by the way. He is, my God. But let's see what happens when the league's figured you out. But Marcus Rashford now is starting to become not just a guy. He's starting to become the guy. And you have to be honest. Even if you don't like Man United, I don't care. Marcus Rashford's starting to become a top 10 player. And think about how nobody thinks Marcus Rashford is David Ginola, right? In terms of talent. Nobody thinks he's Keith Gillespie, Gaza. But sometimes being a Man United player is about more than that. Can you withstand the weight of carrying this magnificent club? And Rashford seems to be the guy for me. And the problem for Martial is that he's with Rashford. Anybody who's watching, and I say, if you were an alien and you came down, and I said, pick one of these two, right? They've never seen football. It's clear Rashford's the guy. Give me the ball. I'm taking responsibility. I'm taking the free kicks. Never sulking. I can't have you at Man United be sulking, and then every now and then you do a smart flick and Rashford finishes it, and you're telling me you're a Man United player. By the way, those flicks and whatever he's doing at Man United, I expect that at Man United. But the problem with Martial is I get it once every 6th game. With Rashford, I'm getting over and over and over. 7 out of 10 every game. I'm sorry, I can't go with you on that one. And Jimmy says, just look at Martial's goal involvement. Who cares about a striker's hard work? If he's not involved in the goals, he's a waste. That is what Werner is. We've all seen what a waste Werner is. See, again, that doesn't make any sense. If you're saying that Werner's got 9 goals and 6 assists this season, if you're just doing a numbers game. So that can't make sense either. And again, I get a shift out of Werner. So even when he's not playing well, tactically, I can fit him in. Marcus Rashford's like, Martial, it's a bit of an Ozil situation. If he's not killing it with the ball, he's a passenger. I'm sorry. I saw Wayne Rooney, right? Wayne Rooney, listen, I don't hate Man United. Wayne Rooney's not the most talented player this league's ever seen. But you'd have to say, you'd have to be some sort of Man United hater to say you wouldn't have him you wouldn't want a player like that. I mean, he wouldn't make my all-time squad, but Wayne Rooney's a Man United player, right? I never have to worry about his attitude. You get out there. With Martial, I got to babysit the guy? Because once every 6 games, he's a talented guy. He'll do something special. Nobody must deny Martial's talent. No, you're not being honest if you don't say Anthony Martial is one of the most talented young. Well, he's not young anymore. He's 25 now, but he's one of the most talented guys in the world. But I'm sorry, talent's not enough. And just like in a relationship, I'm sorry, love is not enough. At this level, guys are all talented. And if you're not being honest, if I offered you Timo Werner or Martial right now, and you took Martial, I'm sorry. Come on. I could have Werner missing all these chances. He's still got, 9 goals and 6 assists this season. In his first season in the league. Anthony Martial's been here for 6 seasons, and we're still making excuses for the guy. We're still having to explain that, oh no, he's a creative. Chief, you're 6 seasons into this thing. Werner's, it's his first season. So I get better numbers with Werner in his first season in a new league. So that's not a comparison to be made. Firmino, I get better numbers. I get work ethic. I get an unbelievable first touch. I get a world-class playmaker. What do I get with Martial? My only thing about Martial is, what do I get? A fancy flick here and there for Rashford to finish? Is that what I'm getting? Is that for 60 million? Folks, you must remember, the reason why I'm saying this is if Man United paid 15 million pounds for Martial, I'd say give the guy a break. When they bought him, he was the most expensive teenager in the world. By the way, they had another teenager who was the most expensive teenager in the world. You know what his name was? Wayne Rooney. He's the highest goal scorer Man United have ever had. That's the standard. So I'm not grading Anthony Martial. Forget about other clubs. All right? I'm grading Anthony Martial off Manchester United standards. And I'm old, folks. So when you tell me about a Man United striker or winger, call Martial whatever you want. Winger, striker, creative mid, call him whatever you want. I don't care. The problem is I've seen what Ryan Giggs was. I've seen Ryan Giggs. I've seen Cristiano Ronaldo. I've seen Carlos Tevez. I've seen Wayne Rooney. I've seen what a Man United player looks like, especially when we spend money on you. When you're the most expensive teenager in the world, that was 60 million pounds 5 years ago. I'm not an accountant. That's probably 80, 90 million pounds today. And I'm getting this. I'm getting sulky. I'm getting headbutts against Tottenham still. Folks, let's stop making excuses, please, 6 seasons later for people. If Timo Werner in 6 years' time is still giving me these misses and inconsistencies, you got to go. You can't tell me Martial's still young 6 seasons later. Come on now. But unless, and I'm happy to accept this because I don't think the standards of Man United are the same as they were. Unless Man United are saying, listen, we're a top 6 club, Anthony Martial's good enough, then fine. But I'm comparing Manchester United 2007, 2009, Ronaldo, Tevez, Rooney, and be honest, if you love United, you cannot say Martial is fit to wear those boots. And even then, maybe that standard might be a bit high. Dimitar Berbatov. I say to you right now, you want Dimitar Berbatov or do you want Anthony Martial? Because Martial's 25 now. Don't tell me he's a youngster. Don't tell me Dominic Calvert-Lewin's 23. Nobody has to make excuses for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and he's 23 at a worse team with far less talented players, by the way. Nobody has to explain Dominic Calvert-Lewin's presence anywhere to anybody. Let's just be very clear about that, folks. Nobody's explaining him. He's 23. If the situation's Martial's still a youngster, he's still growing. I don't want to have to explain myself for 60 million pounds, guys. I can't be explaining myself for Paul Pogba 90 million pounds for 60 million. When I pay 60 million, I don't have to explain and justify you. Come in, fit the shirt, and carry us. I was dead right. I'm sorry. Martial, I'm out. Shimmy, listen, Shimmy, big Man United fan. And folks, maybe you agree with Shimmy, but I can't go there. I can't go there. I've just seen too much quality at Man United to give people time, to give people 6 years to figure it out. Folks, I've always said this to people. There's a reason I don't hang out with young people, right? I get very nervous working with young people. You know why? I love young people. They're moving, they're grooving, they're shaking. Hey, new ideas. I like that. But you know what the problem? You know what the problem is? And Anthony Martial is very much this. And this is why Jose Mourinho doesn't like young players, by the way. Anthony Martial, these types of players, that's why it didn't work with Pogba. It didn't work with Martial at United. You know why? Is with young people, is they're so sensitive that when things go wrong, you're getting a different person the next day. With grown-ups, we've been through life. So I know what I'm getting tomorrow. At 25, I can't still be going with you're young, and I don't know why you're sulking the next day, and why you're headbutting someone against Tottenham, and why you're not giving me 25 goals in the league and maybe 10 assists. I can't go with that. I just can't do it. But, and I'll leave this to Man United fans to decide. For me, not good enough, and I was dead right 2 years ago when I said it. But if the standards at Man United are we're happy to be in the top 6 and we're happy to just have a functional guy, so be it. Then I'm wrong. But to be a Man United player, I'm sorry, not when you're the most expensive teenager in the world. Folks, before you go, push like. Otherwise, if you don't like this show, hey, just go and tell people there's some loudmouth on the internet. We hate him. I wasted my time. Maybe you were fighting with your girlfriend or boyfriend and you thought, hey, you know what? I need to listen to a talking head for an hour to get away from this mess. If that is what I serve in your life, that's awesome. Before you go, push like, though. Do that. Be a friend, tell a friend. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back tomorrow night. My name is MKT. This is the social distancing Lego hair man, Gareth Cliff. If you aren't listening on the podcast and you're watching on YouTube, this has been the MKT show. You could have been anywhere tonight with anybody. You chose to be with us. It has been an absolute pleasure. For now, though, we are the hell out of here.